Hello and welcome back to Entrepreneur Talks Podcast. Season 1 episode will be written on the information of this podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by WomenFlix and Entrepreneur Talks Podcast. Feel free to drop a message if you would like to be our guest, if you would like to get our services, and if you would like to share your vision. WomenFlix, Yola Bastos, and I hope you enjoy our session today. Mei Phing Lim. He's my guest on Entrepreneur Talks Podcast. She's helping high-performing young executives and entrepreneurs get out of their own way, navigate complex people and problems to create long-term success. She spent the last decade as the top performer in various global multinational companies. She is a cultural enthusiast with a deep understanding of nuances between Eastern and Western cultures, having traveled to 37 countries and counting. She knows what success looks like and how to get her young, ambitious clients there without burning out. With her signature P.H.I.N.G coaching method, she helps her clients to leverage their personalities and design practical strategies that makes them grow no matter what. So let's welcome Mei Phing Lim. And all the information about how to find Mei Phing Lim will be described on the podcast today. Let's talk with her. Welcome, Mei Phing, to my podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here with me today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So you told me that you are not in UK because, as you know, I'm from London. I'm talking from London, and you're talking from where? Tell us, my listeners, where you speaking with me today from.
I'm currently in Malaysia, but I run most of my coaching business online, so I'm pretty much in various countries across Asia at any point in time.
Amazing. Yes, because as your description, the information that you sent to me about yourself, you've been in 37 countries so far, right?
Yes, both professionally as well as personal travels as well.
Amazing. That's amazing. So you are a coach. Well, how can you describe your life coaching, like your leadership coach?
Yeah. So I think traditionally, when we think of leadership, we always think of ourselves as some sort of a team leader or kind of running, and managing a group of people. But essentially, how I see leadership is that you are leading yourself and managing yourself first. So that's what I mainly focus on. So when I work with my clients, I help them to become self-aware of their preferences, their defaults, their personality. We work on communication, listening, and really engaging with people, as well as navigating problems. And why I'm very passionate about this space is because I spent the last decade in various corporate positions, fairly senior positions at that. So I've worked with many people from across different countries as well. And one of the common things that I see is that a lot of people, they work really hard.
Yes.
But one of the key skills is really about how to really engage, people and build genuine relationships at work or even in business, and really navigating and processing problems. So that is the kind of leadership coaching that I do.
Amazing. That's really good. And they are and it's common challenges between the young people that you work with, because you work with young people And what are the ages? Like, so I made like 2 questions here, but you can answer one. I realized. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so currently in my coaching business, I'm working with young executives as well as entrepreneurs between 25 and 35. Plus minus, I do mentor a couple of students in their early 20s as well. Why I'm very passionate about this group of people is because, because myself, I'm also a millennial. We grew up in a very different generation as compared to our parents. So the world is different. We think differently, different perspectives.
Yes,
Everything
yes.
moves so quickly, right?
Yes, totally. So 25 to 35. What made you to go on that age, on that like between these ages? Because you like to work with them, but were you, when you were 25, you felt different? Because you already mentioned that we're living in a different generation. We're living with a different like even the culture changed a little bit. But what made you choose from 25 to 35?
Yeah. So firstly, because I'm in between this age range, so I feel like this is a group that really resonates with me.
Okay.
Because of them, right? The first point. Secondly, and as you've said, right, when I was 25 and even I would say maybe 25 to 27, and I was working in a corporate job, I also faced a lot of challenges because I was young and I'm also a female, right? So there are some challenges in that space, and myself working in an international bank with people from all over the world. So there are definitely 3 things that I see that I'm able to really resonate with. So number 1 is really the youth enthusiasm, always wanting to do a lot and like to contribute and to learn. I think that part is really great. Secondly, it's really about experience. So how can they still kind of go forward even though they lack experience in years, but not necessarily in knowledge? And that is also one of the challenges that I face, because I leveled up very quickly, but at the same time, when someone looked at me, they're like, okay, you look so young, like, do you really know what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was uncomfortable, but I guess like once you are really confident that you know what you're talking about, of course, put in the hours at the back end, then you know what, we move forward.
It's so true. Sometimes we got these situations. And tell me about your signature. You say it's P.H.I.N.G, which is your surname, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm Mei Phing. So I guess it came quite naturally to say, you know what, my approach is, I'm going to call it the P.H.I.N.G method, the P.H.I.N.G method. So a lot of this method, how I came about this was my personal experience and what actually got me to rise up very quickly in my corporate job. And when I left the international bank, I was the senior director. We were running the business management on the portfolio worth $800 million, and I was working with people from 43 offices at that point. So I'll share a little bit more about what is this P.H.I.N.G. So P stands for personality, because I believe that there is no point trying to move forward, and you can't move as quickly if you don't really know who you are, right? How you think, what are your preferences, how do you process things, and because we all generally pretty much have a default, right? So if you're asking an introvert to say, hey, I need you to go.
Yes. One moment.
It might be a challenge. A coach or a consultant.
Oh, okay. So personality for P, and then you got more words for the other ones.
Yes.
I'm trying to record
we move on to H, which I'm calling it the hacker. So this part is really about rewiring your mindset. So a lot of times, we think that we can't do certain things, but it's all in the mind, because sometimes it's just really taking that 1 or 2 steps forward. So I work with my clients to identify what exactly do they want and how much do they want it, right? What is that burning desire? Because once that is clarified and that is clear, then we work around, okay, what are some of the mindset shifts that needs to happen so that they can move forward. So that's the mindset hacking part that's under the H.
Oh, fantastic. Hacker, you said.
Yes.
Wow, nice. Next one, I'm excited. I love this P.H.I.N.G. I thought like might be just your name under your method because it's your own method, but no, actually you created something really good. Wow, let's go for the I. For I, yes.
Sure. So the I'm calling it the Illuminate phase because it doesn't matter what positive mindset that you have, but ultimately it's all about ideas, right? Churning out ideas and what we can or cannot do and what they feel obviously most comfortable doing. So really identifying options and deciding, okay, which are the ones that we are going to try first. Because, positive mindset is great, but it's only helpful to a certain extent because, we can't just be sitting down and say, okay, I'm going to think positive today and things are just going to happen. So I think it's really important to explore possibilities and really illuminating ideas and constantly thinking about what are some of the things that we can try out, for example.
Fantastic, Mei. So under the N, we're gonna. You can carry on. I'm so excited. I love this, and I will repeat all them because I will, if you allow me, I will put on the description on my podcast all these P.H.I.N.G. because it's really interesting and that's really good. So we're going for the N.
All right. So N is the navigate phase, and this is really my biggest support and value add to my coaching clients because how I managed to move up so quickly because I think that it is the ability to navigate people and problems. And a lot of times it's navigating people because problems pretty much comes from, if you're unable to deal with people well, then
yes,
it is really about what do you ultimately want to achieve and what are the strategic actions that we need to take to get there. So it's not about doing busy work. There are a lot of things that we can do every day for sure, but it's about what are the actions that will really move the needle, which are the ones that would really make an impact and ties into the young entrepreneurs or executives vision and where they see their career or their business moving. So I think this navigate phase is really, really an important one because a lot of the young clients that I work with, like I said, they're very enthusiastic, but at the same time, sometimes they are too optimistic. They don't spend enough time really analyzing what really needs to be done that will make them more effective. So I don't say it's not efficient because efficient means that you can do a lot and you fit everything within the day, but it's really being effective. Focus on doing the right thing. And I help them to identify what are the right things for them. And then we come up with pretty much a strategic plan on like some of the big stuff that they really need to focus on rather than, kind of going all over the place.
That's amazing. Do you work? No, I'm gonna. Before I ask you this, let's go for the G because otherwise I will mix it up all these things. I want to let's find out what is the G means on here.
Sure. So the last part is G, which I'm calling it the go-getter, because having an intent and being positive and motivated is just a point in time. At the end of the day, it is taking the consistent actions forward. So that is the accountability phase. So when I work with my clients, then we meet every week or every 2 weeks, really to talk about progress and pivot from there. So I give them feedback because a lot of the challenges that they are facing, I have faced and overcome in the past. So, at the deeper level, I'm able to resonate with, how they think, how they feel, and I help them to really move forward, encouragement, taking the consistent step forward. Hence, go-getter, because if you don't go get, then, you're just kind of sitting around, right?
Yeah, totally. So, wow, this is really good. So I came to I'm going to repeat what you exactly like. What means P-H-I-N-G. So you tell me if I need to add something else, or if I'm right, or if it's something missing there. P for personality, H for hacker, I for illuminate phase, N for navigate phase, and G for goal getter. Is that right?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Ooh, amazing. I love it. And tell me another thing regarding all this process. With the young people that you mentioned, do you do your, I know that you already mentioned that you also work online. So you work through Zoom or Skype or one of these platforms, correct? But
Yes.
And what about you work for groups or individuals?
At the moment, I'm working one-on-one.
Okay.
However, this year, I think it's the year that I definitely want to explore a bit more group coaching or group training. So so stay tuned.
Okay, all right, okay, sounds good. Because I was just wondering if it's groups from like in companies, or it's just young individual persons, but it's individuals. Amazing. And you can you explain me? I know we've been already getting to this in between our conversation. We already spoke a little bit about this, but the common challenge young people face in business. What do you think? What they are? What common challenge are you aware of?
Yeah. So I think it's three things, and I'll call it the three E's: enthusiasm, experience, and effectiveness. So I'll tell you a little bit more about all three.
Yes.
So the funny thing is that when you first hear these three things, right, it almost sounds like, how can this be a bad thing, right? Why would enthusiasm be bad, and vice versa? But I always say that what got you to a certain point, everything has a dark side, everything has a kryptonite if you don't use it correctly. Right. So maybe I'll start with enthusiasm first. So like I said, I think with young people, there's always a lot of like enthusiasm, very optimistic, wanting to go full speed. And more importantly, they always want to say yes, because it's the whole fear of missing out, the whole FOMO thing that's going on right now, right? You always want to say yes and you don't want to miss out. But the thing is that there is a flip side to that, because when you only say yes and you don't learn to say no, that's when you get overwhelmed. That's when you burn out.
Yeah.
And that's something that happened to me as well, because when I started taking on very big projects, even in my mid-20s, in my previous corporate job, it almost felt like I couldn't say no, because I'm like, what would people say? I'm like so lazy, so useless, or whatever. But there is a flip side, and I think that's really important to recognize.
Yes, I agree with you. Just one. Hello?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Sorry, it dropped quickly.
Yes, something happened. You were saying, sorry, Mei.
So I was saying that a lot of times, young people are very enthusiastic. They always want to say yes, and they don't learn how to say no. And there is definitely a flip side to that, because when you can't say no, when you can't prioritize what you need to really focus on, then that's when you are overwhelmed and you'll burn out, because you only have 24 hours a day. So how much can you realistically do and produce the highest quality for? That's something that definitely needs to take into account. And personally, that also happened to me in my mid-20s when I started taking on major global projects. And I felt that I just had to work 24/7, and I just had to keep saying yes, and take on everything. I didn't want to be judged for being lazy or being unsupportive. But at the same time, later on I realized that it didn't help me one bit, because I was just so tired, exhausted, and I couldn't think clearly. So how productive can I be when I can't really focus on what I need to deliver?
Oh yes, definitely. And then you help the young people to understand this and to work in a different way, like you've done before. So you experienced this, and you don't want them to experience, because they're not going to be successful, right? Because on one way or the other, they will be blocking themselves, because they will become too tired, and more stuff will come, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's like, some of these things we are getting in our own way, whether we realize it or not. And, the key thing I work with my clients is creating sustainable success.
Yeah.
So there's no point, it's great, to be successful in the short run, but if you can't, enjoy it, then, how would the hard work be worth it?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mei, for this amazing conversation. We've been together, like having a great conversation. I'm loving this, the fact that I'm learning so much, and I'm learning about your own process and way of dealing with young enthusiasts and executives and entrepreneurs around the world, because you've been teaching and coaching, teaching young people from everywhere, right? Every part in the world. It's just an amazing experience, I believe. So thank you so much. How can people find you? Like, where they can find you for more information?
To connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search for Mei Phing, or on my website, gotaphing.com. So I look forward to working with highly ambitious and high-performing young people who, despite their inexperience, really want to level up in their leadership and communication, and I help them to navigate people and problems to get there more effectively.
Amazing. And also, you included on your description on one link for the free 30 minutes power call. So anyone that was interested and is between these ages, like Mei Phing mentioned her in our conversation, you can grab this opportunity to talk this mastermind person that will definitely help you to get somewhere where you want to be. Right, so I'm including this on the description on my podcast. So anyone is interested, please give a call to Mei Phing, and I'm sure you're gonna have. If I was on your age as well, I would do it. But I'm already past that time, so I give opportunity to others.
Sure. I think what is really important is the drive for success and really wanting to level up. Right.
That's really important.
So I look forward to speaking to all of you guys, and thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and all the best. I wish you all the best, and keep traveling and keep empowering these young people around the world and coaching them in a way that they can remember your signature, P.H.I.N.G. I love it. Okay. We come to the end, and I would love to say thank you again, Mei Phing, and anyone that is interested in and find out more about Mei Phing, just go into the description, follow her, get in touch on LinkedIn or on the website. All the information will be there. Download it and get in touch. Thank you so much, Mei Phing. Okay, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening our podcast session today. If you would like to come back and listen again, you can find us on Anchor, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on Apple iTunes. You can also go through our pages on Facebook or Instagram, and they will be there. Follow us, share, and leave your comments. If you feel like, we would love to know more what you think about the podcast, and if you would like to be our guest, or if you are willing to create your own business, or struggling, or just want to pump, a jump, a change in your life. Okay, speak with you soon. Take care. Bye. See you next week.